Do you like books that are westerns? So for me, they're either hit or miss. Like sometimes I like them and sometimes I don't. Today we're going to talk about Lone Women by Victor LaValle. And this book was so good. I loved it so much. I had no idea. I was going to love it this much. I don't even know what to say right now, but we're going to figure it out. I didn't really have much of an expectation. I had read his other book, The Ballad of Black Tom. I thought it was really great. Really enjoyed it, and so I thought, all right, this is gonna be a pretty good book, and I'd heard really good things about it, but then I read it and it far surpassed anything I thought it would be. It was just amazing. So it's the story of Adelaide Henry. She has a secret. When her family dies, they were farmers, they lived in California, and they were part of this black community where they all had farms in that area where they were actually allowed to at that time. And something happens when her family dies and she has to get the heck out of Dodge because something that is connected to her may have caused this to happen. So she's gonna leave and she's gonna head out to Montana, where the US right now is allowing people, women, people of different races to actually acquire land and live on it. And if they're able to, you know, tame the land after, I think it's 3 years, they get to keep it. She's like, I'm gonna head out there. So she gets out of town and she goes on this journey. And along the way, she meets a few interesting characters. While she's heading out there to her claim of land, there's this family, this woman and her 4 boys they're blind and they can't see. And then she meets other people, and then her nearest neighbor is like 9 miles away. But the land is so flat, like you can see for miles and miles. And it's like a brutal land that batters you and knocks you around. And you really need to like rely on your neighbors because there's just nothing around. As a woman by herself living in this little shack out in the middle of nowhere, that community and that found family that you need to find. As she progresses in the story and starts to work the land, she has this big steamer trunk that when it's opened, people disappear. So she has this big secret. I don't know what I even thought it was gonna be, but I really like what it turned out to be, which I'm obviously not gonna tell you. You gotta read the book. I thought it was pretty great. As you get to meet these other characters, there's just some really fantastic characters in this. The delusion of some of like the townsfolk, because there is a town that's the nearest town, which is called Big Sandy. There's this group of women. Oh, I forget the head lady's name, but like she welcomes everyone to the town and this, that, and the other. And she has this group of women called the Busy Bees, and just like some of the delusion and the way that people think and perceive things. And then you have Adelaide meets these other characters. There's only one other black woman in this whole area of like big open land that she eventually meets. Her name is Birdie. And there's this other woman, Fiona, as well. And the people you meet along the way, like how powerful these women are, all the stuff you have to look out for and on the land. Like there's people who will rob you blind, and then there's also you're by yourself, random cowboys coming out and knocking on her door, and then what happens with her steamer trunk and what was in there. It was inspiring, emotional. There is some gory parts in there. There's queer representation. It was fantastically written. LaValle really just captures like the spirit and time of the place and these just powerful women, and just a really fantastic Western story with thrills, chills, horror, and gorer. Horror and gorer! That's a word, right? And it's just magnificent. I can't recommend that enough. This has been one of my top books of the year so far. I look forward to reading more Victor LaValle books. I want to read The Changeling, and I know he has a few more. I can't think of any of the other names right now, but this definitely has made me want to read more of his work. So, super excited. If you want a really great Western book, Lone Women by Victor LaValle was absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend it. And if you are a fan of horror books, next video coming up will be about another horror book. So stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.